Well, welcome back, everybody, and thanks for watching section 2 of the overview of the RCA SHC-4. I'm going to call it an SHC-4 from now on. I know it's really an SHC-2, but I think most people refer to it as SHC-4. So here are the speakers laid out on the table, face down. This is how they are arranged uh, in the console. I just want to point out one thing. It's got two 11-inch woofers and two 3.5-inch tweeters. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you can follow the green wire connects directly to the two 11-inch woofers, and through this non-polarized capacitor, which is functioning as a crossover network to the two 3.5-inch tweeters, which is exactly like you would expect it to be. But that's not what the schematic shows. The schematic shows this weird combination, the crossover going to one tweeter and one woofer, which really makes no sense at all. The point I'm trying to make is that sometimes on the schematics, not all the information is completely reliable. So just rely on what you can see with your own eyes. Now here is the speaker board. The speakers attach to the speaker board, and I wanted to point out one thing. If you remember in the first video, I mentioned that you can't take the speaker board out of the cabinet with the speakers attached. And the reason is this. You notice here in this, where this 11-inch woofer goes, you see these two screw holes right here? You see directly under the tweeters you have this screw and this screw, and under this woofer you have this screw and this screw. Those screws hold the speaker board to those two cross pieces in front of the console, and they're completely invisible when the speakers are mounted and completely inaccessible. So if you don't know that they're there, you may think that the speaker board is just hung up on something when you're trying to pull it out and just pull a little harder. But that could result in breaking one of those cross pieces. So okay, so that's it for the speakers. Okay, so now let's move over onto the record changer, and I think this is going to be the biggest challenge in getting this unit into complete working order. The reason for that is that, like many old record changers, the rubber idler wheels are dry, hard, and cracked. Some of the grommets are gone. I mean, those things can be replaced. You can send the idler wheels away, and they can be refurbished. But notice where the tone arm is supposed to be. The original tone arm, at some time in the past, was removed. I suspect it was removed because it was warped, since that does seem to be a problem with these players. And in its place was substituted one of these tone arms, and the cartridge was just taped to it with Scotch tape. It would be really nice to have an original tone arm to go with this. So what are my options? One option is I can put this crummy tone arm back on and use the right kind of cartridge and get it working. The other option is I could try to find a replacement original tone arm. I think that would be a long shot. Or maybe I could just get another changer that would just drop in to where this one goes. That would be probably the least desirable of all the options. But I'll keep you informed as to how this goes. The motor works fine. All the mechanism underneath seems to be intact and probably functional if I can just get the idler wheels to where they can have some friction. Okay, to the next thing. Well, as you can see, I've started putting things back in the cabinet. For example, I've installed the speaker board and the speakers, and I have installed the trim pieces that go across here, and the one that goes across the front of the record changer compartment. I've installed the dial bezel, the dial glass, which is really plexiglass, and so that's coming along. I would like you just to notice here where the knobs will come out, these little plastic inserts on the front here. Now this is very clever on the part of RCA. It's a way of lighting up the knobs, but only using one lamp. And let's just see how they do that. So this is how they do it. This is a light pipe that they use to channel the light from one light bulb to the five knobs that need to be lit up. So the one light bulb goes in this hole here. I'll show you where that is, and then light is channeled from here to these 4 light bulbs and comes out of these translucent plastic inserts behind the knobs. Let's put it in. Okay, here we are looking in from behind. There you see the 5 holes for the knobs. Here is the light pipe, and you notice there are 2 brackets that hold it on. The screws go into these 2 holes here. So let me just install that, because I'll need both hands. And by the way, this clip right here, this clip is what holds the single bulb that supplies lights for the knob, and I'll show you that on the front of the chassis in a later part. So just stand by for a second. So there it is, all installed. So now let's look at the front of the chassis to see where that bulb comes out of the chassis that lights up the 5 knobs. So here we have the front of the chassis, and you see these 2 wires coming out here with this bulb on the end. This is the bulb that fits down in the hole where that bracket is in the cabinet, and will stick up something like this inside that light pipe and supply light to the 5 knobs. Okay, let's go to something else. Well, just a few more points in the cabinet here. Here is the AM loop antenna. The AM loop antenna has a piece of 300 ohm twin lead that plugs into the chassis. This wire coming out of the bottom of the chassis through this bottom of the cabinet through this hole is the FM antenna. The FM antenna connects up here on this terminal strip on the back of the chassis, and then this connection, this piece of 300 ohm twin lead from the back of that terminal strip uh, plugs into the chassis. And also coming out of these holes are the speaker wires. I replaced the old speaker wires with new speaker wire. Underneath, we have the speaker compartment, the two 12-inch woofers, and the two, they say 3-inch tweeters are really more like 2.5-inch. But that's what the speakers look like. Now I don't know if you can see up in here that hole. That's the bottom of that is the hole that light goes into, that lights up the 5 knobs in front. This screen wire right here is just the hole is for ventilation, but the screen wire is for it's for ventilation. But it's, if you notice, there's a ground wire that's connected to it. This wire connects to the back of the chassis to ground this screen to prevent coupling between different parts of the circuit by means of that screen. Over here we have the empty changer compartment. And as you know, I don't yet know what I'm going to do about the changer. We'll see in a subsequent video. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.